Hey model fans, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be doing something just a little bit different. So a couple weeks ago, a friend and I were just chatting, talking about buying cars and stuff, and he jokingly said, yeah, I bet if you didn't buy all your model cars, you could probably have saved that money and use it to buy something cool. To which I thought, you know what, I've never actually stopped and thought about how much my collection as a whole is worth. So since I always try to be open and honest with things on this channel, I thought for today I would run through my entire collection and kind of give you guys a breakdown of how much everything costs, and then obviously at the end we'll total it up and see where we stand. So before I actually jump into the video, a couple things as I want to mention for how I get to the number. So the focus is going to be just on the 1/18 scale collection. None of my other scale models, as obviously 1/18 is the most expensive. Two, all the pricing is going to be in Canadian dollars. I live in Canada, so I feel like that's the best way to accurately represent how much my collection is worth. Of course, that does mean that some of the prices have been converted from either US dollars or even from Europe, where I've purchased some of the cars from. So I will not necessarily give you the original purchase price, but I will state which cars I have purchased from, let's say, outside of Canada. The other thing with that, just to get for the easy math and just to get the most, I guess, consistent numbering, I have also rounded up every number. So let's say if I say I paid $110 for something, more than likely the actual model price was $109.99 or something like that. And also with that, all the prices are just solely what the model itself was worth. I haven't included any shipping or taxes or anything like that, because I realized, again, I live in Canada, but you guys are watching this, you live in different parts of the world, maybe even different parts of the country. In Canada, shipping might be a little bit different. So again, to have the most accurate representation of how much the collection is worth, again, all prices in Canadian, rounded to the nearest whole, and prices without taxes or shipping or any of that. So with that out of the way, let's jump right into the video. Okay everyone, I apologize, the lighting's a little bit dark over here, so don't mind the glare from my cell phone light here. And so let's just get into it. So the first car on the list is the newest edition, so my AMG GT Black Series. I paid $203 for this, and I did buy this from the States. My Aventador SV is next on the list. Again, I bought this from the USA, actually the exact same website. So I paid $266 for this one. The regular Aventador here, I bought locally from a friend, so that only cost me $75. Coming down here, the Ferrari F50, I only paid $20 for this. If we jump over here, I have the Countach model. Now, these might have a slight discrepancy because this is one of the models that I got from Costco. So this only cost me $22 from Costco. Same with the Valkyrie was a Costco model, so that was $22. The Reventon down there, it wasn't from Costco, but I got that locally. That was $40 that I paid for that. If we jump over here, the 296, another Costco model, so that was $22, as were the Bolide and the Mistral at $22. And then the Devo beside it, I think I paid about $50 for that one, bought it locally. The SF90 Aceto Fiorano, I paid $75 for that one. This is a special one because this is the model that I bought in Germany from CK Model Cars at their Adenau location right beside the Nürburgring. So that was a really great journey and really special, I guess, moment as well. Because then we're going to jump all the way here to the other cabinet. So next up is the Zenvo, and I paid $625 for this. Now, it was slightly more just with the shipping and everything. But again, I wanted to focus just on the model price, and this converted from the Euro pricing was $625 Canadian. I guess while we're still in this cabinet, let's jump down here. So the Urus, one of the other more recent additions, was $288. I bought that locally. The M3 was $174. Again, I bought that locally at the auto show earlier this year. The DB5 was $333. Again, bought that locally from my friend Keith. I guess we can talk about the Aventador J for a second there. That cost me nothing. My friend Dan just gave it to me. It's not really a 1/18 scale, but I thought I'd just mention it anyways. That was free, but it's kind of cool. If we come up here, the McLaren Senna was $310. The 720S back there was $210. If we come up to this shelf, we have the Exorcist Camaro, which was $160. The C7s that are $300. The C8 was $320. So I guess newer model, slightly more expensive. My Centenario Roadster here was $310. Again, bought locally. The Koenigsegg 1-to-1 was $360. Come up here, the Revolta was $45. The SP3 was $130. The Carrera GT CGT was $150. So there we go. That covers everything in that cabinet. So the Liberty Walk Huracan there was $320. The Huracan Evo up here was $280. The Performante there was $250. The just regular Huracan here was $200. And the Gallardo STS up there was $220. If I move down to Ferraris, the FF was $153. I bought this off eBay from, I think, the Netherlands or Germany, somewhere in Europe this came from. And then we have two of the biggest hitters, the two BBR models. So the 296 GTS, $600 for, and the 812 was $650. So a couple big hitters there from BBR. The McLaren F1, I believe, was $100. Yeah, the F1 was $100. The Speedtail was $350. Of course, I already mentioned the Valkyrie was $22 from Costco. The Ferrari 360 was $60. I got it locally at a little meet. The 488, $70. Again, I got that locally. If I move down here to the Astons, as I take a seat on the floor. So the Vanquish was $200. The DBS Superleggera was $250, and the Vantage was $260. Also, the Diablo down here, I paid $50 for. Then at the bottom shelf here, the 300 SL Gullwing was $60. Again, bought it locally. The G-Wagon, of course, that's the Shmee 150 edition, so that came directly from Mini Champs in Germany, and that cost me, bear with guys, $250. And the SLR over there, I know I won at some online auction, and that only cost me $40. So coming back to the LT McLarens, so the 675 LT Spider cost me $135. The 600 LT was $290. Both of those were bought locally. And the 675 Coupe was $190. Again, this came from CK Model Cars website, so they're based in Germany. The SVJ down here is $330. The GT2 RS here was $260. The 992 GT3 RS, my friend Keith just gave me that one for free after buying a bunch of models from him, so thank you to Keith for that one. And then the 991 3RS here in Miami Blue was $210. Moving to the Ford GT shelf, so the GT40 here was $230. The 05 GT I paid $200 for, and the newer Ford GT I paid $330 for. If we finish down the AMG GTR shelf, so the GTR Pro I paid $180 for. Again, I just bought that off of a friend. And the original AMG GTR I paid $200 for. And if I finish off the Ferrari shelf, I already said I paid $20 for the F50. The F40 technically cost me nothing because this is actually a model that my dad had from way in the past. I just kind of added it into my collection. And the GTO, which was another recent addition, again, I was given for free. So that obviously cost me nothing. And then if I come down here, the Chevelle, again, I won it at an online auction. Didn't cost me very much, and I paid a grand total of $30 for the Chevelle, and the Wraith in the back there cost me $190. And the cat here is, of course, absolutely priceless. Say hello, Leia. See, now she's all quiet. She was bugging me before, now she's all quiet on the video. Anyways, cat, absolutely priceless and never for sale. I almost forgot, you guys are probably yelling at me that I flipped through a whole shelf. So the Toretto charger here, that cost me $130. And the Red Eye and the Demon here, respectively, cost me... So the Red Eye was $160 and the Demon here was $170. Alright guys, and to finish off the last few cars, so the Gardo here cost me $50, the R8 cost me $90, and the Viper only cost me 20 bucks. Come up here to the Ford shelf. So the two Broncos on the other side, again, they were just acquired for free. And the GT500 in the middle there, I paid $180. JDM shelf, so the FK8, the 10 Gen Type R, cost me $280. The R34 was $300, and so was the R35. So those are roughly the same, obviously. So the 458 here cost me only $90. We move to the Holy Trinity. So the LaFerrari there cost me $150. The 918 was $300, and the P1 was $270. The Murciélagos here, the Mercy Roadster here was $260. The Mercy SV was $350. And just the regular Murciélago there was $50. I actually bought the Mercy and the Gardo at the same time back in the day. So I think they were $100 for the set. Obviously that means $50 each. And last but not least is my Lewis Hamilton F1 car, which cost me $230. And the last car that I want to mention pricing for, you guys probably noticed there's a space beside the 458. I'm not going to reveal exactly just yet what's coming. It should be here within the next week. But this model here that's incoming that I'm going to mention last is single-handedly the most expensive model that I have purchased, and that cost me a total of $900, or will cost me. I'm actually getting it from a friend and I'm paying him as we go along, but yeah, all in, that model is going to be $900. Okay everyone, so we've run through all the models. I've given you all the prices, even including a couple free cars in here and the model that has been partially paid for but is soon to be on the way. So I'll put the number up right here. So the total value of my collection as it currently sits, even minus the incoming model, is $15,872. Now, I know that is a huge amount of money, and even I had to kind of take this moment yesterday when I was adding this all up and go, does it really cost that much? Now, of course, I did just say, I do have a couple cars in here that were given to me for free, so the number would be slightly higher if not for that. But I just want to say, as I've always said, I think I've always been open and honest. And I've always said, you know, if you're going to be collecting, keep collecting fun, stay on budget. You know, every single one of these cars was bought. I had been pre-planned. I made sure I had the money. I knew where I was getting the model from. I kind of knew how much it was going to cost. Obviously, I've only ever bought one model off kind of impulse purchase, and I don't even have that one anymore. So it could say that didn't really cost me anything as I sold it, and I think I at least made back what I paid originally for that car. So yeah, even though, you know, like I said, I'm paying $900 for a model which isn't quite here yet. Luckily, I'm getting it from a friend, so he was able to let me pay in installments, so it didn't kind of kill me all at once. But, you know, even something like the two BBR Ferraris, I knew they were coming in. I made sure I had the money saved up, ready to go. So while paying $600 for a model is a lot of money, you know, again, I made sure I had it and it wasn't going to impact me in any other areas of life or financially. So yeah, like I said, I know 15,872 sounds like a huge number. And of course, that's only factoring in the actual models. That doesn't factor in any of the display cabinets, no, the lifts or any of the memorabilia and stuff around it, which is kind of associated, not the Star Wars stuff. But yeah, that's only just on the models. So I don't want to ramble on too long. I just thought it'd be kind of cool, given that my buddy and I were talking about, you know, cars and money and stuff. And yeah, really, for 15,872, you could either buy something really used that's cool, or that's a decent down payment on something else. Obviously, I would love to have a second vehicle. And again, like I said, these didn't happen overnight. So it's a fun hobby that I have. I'm sure I'll be continuing to do it for many, many years to come. Obviously, if you guys have a collection, like maybe drop in the comments, how much is your collection worth? If you know, is it more? Is it less? But again, keep collecting fun, keep collecting safe. Obviously, never prioritize one of these over something else in your life. I just thought this would be a fun video just to see how much I've actually spent on this. And yeah, the number is slightly eye-watering, but I've had a ton of fun doing it. I know people that come over, they enjoy the collection. I know you guys on the internet here kind of enjoy my collection as well. So really, I just do it out of pure fun and passion. But yeah, let me not ramble on at you guys for too much longer. I had fun doing this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give the video a big thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel to see more videos in future. I'll have a video on the new car when it arrives and the GT Black Series, which is just arrived. I'll have a video out on that very soon. And with that said, I will see you all in the next one. Bye.